رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي. In today's philosophy, inshallah, we'll be talking about the concept of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi Anil Munkar, their order in the Quran, commanding to good and forbidding evil, their order mentioned in the Quran. So I'll show you certain verses, and I'll show you that the mention of commanding to good comes before before forbidding evil. So, for example, in chapter 3, verse 104, let there be arising from your nation, inviting to all that is good, enjoining what is go right, and then forbidding what is evil. First enjoining what is right, and then forbidding what is evil. يأمرون بالمعروف, then وينهون عن المنكر. Then Surah Al Imran, chapter 3, verse 114, they enjoin what is right, and then they forbid what is wrong. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. Then Surah Araf, chapter 7, verse 157, he who enjoins upon them what is right and for prohibits them from what is wrong. So first enjoining what is right, يأمرهم بالمعروف وينهاهم عن المنكر. And then Surah Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 71, the believing men and believing women are allies of one another. They enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. So first enjoining what is right, and then secondly forbidding what is evil. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. An example in the Quran, chapter 16, verse 19, indeed Allah orders justice and good conduct and giving help to relatives. This is what He orders, and then what does He forbid? And forbids immorality and bad conduct and oppression. So first giving the order, and then secondly forbidding. And an example in Surah Fatiha, if you can connect it with this concept, is that when we ask Allah to show us the straight path in Surah Fatiha, guide us to the straight path, this is chapter 1 of the Quran, we say the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor first, and then not of those who have earned your anger, or of those who are astray. So the concept I'm trying to show you here is first enjoining or commanding or encouraging to what is good, and then secondly forbidding what is wrong. It's not that you don't have to forbid what is wrong, it is a necessity. In fact, this shows that it points to the fact that there will be things which will be wrong, and you'll have to stop them, and you will have to do that. But first thing is first enjoining what is right, because to understand this concept of why we must first enjoin what is right and then secondly forbid what is wrong, it goes on to show that you must have a purpose, some higher purpose to look towards, and then whatever comes in its way, obstructs it, what is wrong, you try to do away with it. Because think about the example of building a house, right? You have a main house, and then outside the house, to protect the house, you have the boundary wall. But imagine somebody simply builds the boundary wall to protect, and doesn't build a house inside. What is he protecting? With the sand inside? There's nothing to protect, right? So you must have a purpose, a higher purpose, an aim, an ambition, a goal that you yourself look towards, that you're working towards, and in that, to protect yourself like a boundary wall, you forbid what is wrong as well. Whatever wrong comes in the way, you forbid it as well, right? Because if you don't have a purpose, then forbidding wrong is necessary, and in fact these words suggest that there will always be wrong and you'll have to forbid it as well. But if you don't have a purpose to look at, a goal to look at, then you're like somebody who's building a boundary wall without the main structure, right? Or anything in life, generally the human psychology doesn't want people necessarily resisting them. And even if you look at somebody who's always resisting and talking against you, you ask him about his own purpose. If he doesn't have one, he looks like somebody who's purposeless in life, and he just wants to go and criticize others, right? So the main message here is to have your own purpose in life, the main purpose to look at. For example, in Islam, to establish this system of justice in all spheres of life, and then whatever comes in the way, you stop it as well. Subhanallah. So it doesn't mean that, but you think about it psychologically, right? Human nature doesn't always want to be resisted. Like if you look at somebody who's always resisting you, like, why don't you have something to do, right? Why don't you have something? You're always resisting me, right? Why don't you have something to do in life? If you have some purpose in life, then you stop others, then it makes sense that, okay, you're stopping others for a higher purpose, right? So may Allah open the doors of the Quran for us. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.